There has been a lot of debate about the story of GTA 6. Rockstar has given us some official info, but the things shown about the story in the trailers have been vague. And of course there are some leaks that we can try to look into, but some of them are on pretty loose ground. So take everything I say in this video with a grain of salt, as all of this is just my analysis and not confirmed information. I will also speculate about some things to fill the video and to explain the most probable options about the story. My name is Saukko, and I have helped with the creation of the GTA 6 community map. And I know a lot of things about GTA 6. And let's start with some speculation about the possible prologue and what happened to Jason and Lucia before the story of GTA 6 started. And we can start with the character descriptions on the Rockstar Games website. Jason Duvall. Jason wants an easy life, but things just keep getting harder. Jason grew up around grifters and crooks, and after a stint in the army trying to shake off his troubled teens, he found himself in the Leonard Keys doing what he knows best, working for local drug runners. Jason seems to have had a pretty rough childhood, and he was an army ranger for a while, based on his Marauder tattoo here, which is the in-game version of army rangers. And as he has a tattoo, that means that he deployed. And as we can assume that Jason is from 25 to 35 years old, and the youngest you can deploy in the US military is at 18 years old, so Jason could have been deployed somewhere from 2010 to 2025. So it's likely that Jason participated in the war on terror in Afghanistan, Syria or Iraq, as the 75th Ranger Regiment has been extremely active in the Middle East since the start of the 2000s, and Jason received his ranger training at the real-life military base of Fort Benning at the border of Alabama and Georgia. So it's possible that this military base will be in the game, and it's possible that we get a prologue where Jason does something in the military, be it in the Middle East or when he's training. And then when he leaves the military for some unknown reason, he ends up in the Keys running drugs for Brian Heater. And then Lucia Caminos. Lucia's father taught her to fight as soon as she could walk. Life has been coming swinging at her ever since. Fighting for her family landed her in the Leonard prison. Sheer luck got her out. Lucia has learned her lesson. Only smart moves from here on out. More than anything, Lucia wants the cool life her mom has always dreamed of since the days in Liberty City. But instead of half-baked fantasies, Lucia is prepared to take matters into her own hands. So Lucia is a fighter and a boxer, and is originally from Liberty City. And as we can see, family is important to her, both her mom and father. And her fighting for her family landed her in a prison. So it's likely that this fighting happened in Leonida and not in Liberty City. But it's technically possible that it did happen in Liberty City, but Lucia just got transferred to Leonida for some reason. So it's possible that we get a prologue of Lucia either in Liberty City or about why she ended up in prison. Then, after the possible prologue, it's pretty clear that we first gain access to Jason before Lucia. Of course, there might be a section where we play as Lucia in the prison, but I believe that's gonna be a very short section if it exists. But Jason in the Keys. There has been some leaks saying that Jason does something with some Russian drug smugglers, and then Jason ends up working for those smugglers. However, this sounds kind of weird, because as we saw in trailer 2, Jason is working for Brian Heater, so these Russians could just be Brian Heater and his crew, and those leaks are just Rockstar trying to catch leakers by leaking false information to them. So we are gonna ignore everything about Russians. But yeah, the story likely begins with Jason doing some kind of smuggling related things on the Keys for Brian Heater. And during this time we are working for him, we'll be getting some money from some paying tenants.
Just go get me my checks!
Doing some plane related stuff with Cal Hampton, and spending time with Cal Hampton for fun and probably for some small missions. During this time it also appears that Jason gets his first weapon from Brian Heater. These missions likely extend to the Grass Rivers 2, and this helicopter mission might take place during the period. And of course it appears that at least Vice City will be accessible during this time, as based on the way that Rockstar has order the scenes in the trailer would suggest that these things happen before Lucia gets out of prison. And the way Lucia gets out of prison is by sheer luck. And based on this text, this meeting where Jason picks up Lucia is the first time they meet. We still don't know why Jason picks him up though. Lucia is released on parole. She has an ankle monitor and does community service. And we can see Lucia with the ankle monitor both in the Keys and in Vice City. So it appears she isn't limited to only the Keys. Also, it would be stupid to limit her only to the keys as the prison is in Vice City. And reading the website, we can see that Lucia has a plan and something about Jason and Lucia not being sure about their relationship, but both still want a better life for themselves. We can also see Jason and Lucia hanging around the keys and doing stuff at Jason's place, while she has the ankle monitor. Rockstar does a good job hiding her feet. We don't know if these scenes where she is wearing the yellow skirt take place while she has the ankle monitor or not. But then, Jason and Lucia do some crime. What a surprise.
Only smart moves from here.
But then basically instantly an easy score goes wrong, and they find themselves on the darkest side of the sunniest place in America. So on the darkest side of Leonida, which is Port Kelhon. Still staying in Vice City, Lucia probably has to take the ankle monitor off before trying to do crime, like the easy score. So these scenes, as we see Lucia here without the ankle monitor, could take place right after she has taken the ankle monitor off. And then because she took it off, the police are after her. These scenes could also take place later in the story. And then, what is the easy score they did? It could be this bank robbery they did with Raul, but it seems too big of a job, as they end up escaping with a vehicle and using an M32 rotator grenade launcher to escape. So it might be this vault, as this seems relatively easy, they just need a car. And they might have stolen some important documents, which then pulls them into the criminal conspiracy stretching across the state of Leonida. And then they flee to Port Kelhon. This is basically also speculation, as it's possible that we haven't seen the things they did that caused them to flee. So Jason and Lucia head towards the west coast, and they end up in Port Kelhon, the promised land of cheap hookers and mollies. And then in Port Kelhon, they end up staying at the Starlet Motel. During their time in Port Kelhon, they meet Wyman, who is a car enthusiast and a conspiracy theorist. They also meet the people of the Trillbilly Mud Club, who we can also see in this screenshot, which takes place in Port Kelhon. They will likely take part in other crime too, which include drugs and robberies. They might also visit Ambrosia and Mount Calaga during this time. Eventually, the people related to the criminal conspiracy end up finding them, and they assault the Starlet Motel. Jason and Lucia fight back and eventually flee the Starlet Motel. Then there's an unknown period of time in the story. We don't know if Jason and Lucia are hiding for a while, if they visit the Grassivers or Mount Calaga, or even possibly unknown areas of the map. But eventually, Jason and Lucia will return to Vice City. And at this point, it appears that they have gotten money from somewhere, as they start wearing better clothes, and the bad guys are not following them actively anymore. They might have faked their death, or they went back to Vice City on purpose, because that's where no one would be looking for them, as that's where they are fleeing from. And during this time, they are either staying at an apartment here, or at this hotel, which is same as this one. And as we can see, Carl isn't dead yet. During this time in Vice City, it's likely that they meet people like Draguan, Booby, and the real Dimes. Same with Raul, unless they met those people already earlier in the game. This car robbery, this plane scene, and this bank heist likely take place during this period. So they are reaching new levels of crime, and most of the nightclub scenes and the party scenes take place during this period. Unless once again, they take place earlier in the game. So that's everything Rockstar has given us. We still have no idea how Watson Bay, Ambrosia, or Mount Calaga relate to the story. Of course, in Ambrosia, they have the bikers and the mayor's election, and they might do stuff there during their stretch in Port Kelhon. We can also see Carl and Brian's pilot at a mini golf course. We don't know where it is, but if I had to guess, it's somewhere north of Lake Leonida. So at some point, the story will go there too. There's a misconception that has been going around since trailer 1, and it's that the few final scenes of trailer 1 are from the same mission. This is fucking stupid. Firstly, they are robbing this Uncle Jack's liquor store. Then they would drive south through a U-turn, go back north towards the store. Then they would teleport to Waning Sands, which is north of Vice City, and then they would teleport to somewhere west of Vice City in the Everglades. This is one of the stupidest theories I have ever heard. But anyways, take everything else I say in the video with a grain of salt, as Rockstar has been deceptive with their trailers before, so all of my analysis could be completely wrong. Jason and Lucia could meet at the end of the story for all I know. And thank you for watching. Please like the video, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe so that you will see more videos from me once trailer 3 comes. Please, Rockstar.